It's still doing the same thing. Why won't let me do it? Sound eruption. Man, I ain't got time to pay for getting paying about my money, man.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's office hours. I will give attendees 3 more minutes to join us, and then we'll get started. All right, everyone, it is 10:33. Let's get started. Welcome to Mississippi Home Corporation office hours. We are actually on office hours session number 5. We will be going over the new housing inspection requirement NSPIRE for ESG and HOPWA grant. And I'd like to start off on a light note. So driving in this morning, I was able to see the sunrise and it was so beautiful. And guess what, y'all? I was inspired. Corny joke, but I figured it's a good way to get it started off. Today, our objective will be looking at May 10th, 2023, the regulations that came out by HUD publishing the NSPIRE requirement. It was established actually before this time, but was implemented for HUD program as a minimum quality standard measure. ESG, COC, and HOPWA programs were required to implement this new status as of October 1st, 2023. But on September 19th, that date was delayed and changed. This office hour will go over the requirements. We still decide to go forward with the NSPIRE office hours because, well, we were trying to prepare for October, but now that it's been delayed, we'll still try to be prepared for that new time frame. I do have some interactive questions that I would like to put out there to get the insight about what your knowledge is. So I have a few questions. I want y'all to raise your hands in response to these questions, okay? So give me a second. All right. Can you all see the question? Maybe not. There we go. What type of inspection form do you currently use? So go ahead and just type it in the chat. What type of inspection form do you currently use? And Vicky, I want you to tell me when you get enough response, which ones are you seeing on the chat. Take a few minutes to let us know what type of inspection form do you currently use. We do have 2 inspection forms out there right now. We have the HQS that some agencies are using, and then we have the habitability inspection form. So let us know which form you're using. I see 3 people responded, but I get like 25 people on here. So I know we're doing inspections. We hope to be doing inspections. Okay, some people are doing both. Okay, that's good. Some people are doing habitability for ESG and HQS for COC. Okay. Anyone else? Habitability, okay. HQS, okay. Here's my next question. How many of you here have heard of NSPIRE before today? Have you heard of NSPIRE before today? Let me know in the chat if you heard of NSPIRE. All right, good. This is not new news for some people. Yeah, we have one brave person that actually said they haven't, and you won't be in trouble if you haven't. I just need to know the type of audience we're working with. Okay. I think we are 50-50, right? Half of people heard of NSPIRE and half have not. And I'm guessing if everybody had responded, we'll have most have not. If you have heard of NSPIRE, that's supposed to be SPI, sorry for the typo, where have you heard about it or who have informed you? You could type it in the chats. Ones who said yes to hearing about NSPIRE, Who informed you? Where were you, have you received training, or where did you get your information? HUD website. Oh, good. You have some people who signed up for HUD Exchange. Well, if you have not heard about NSPIRE, make sure you sign up for HUD Exchange. And you'll receive emails. So this email was going out now. HUD was very heavy on it. The deadline wanted everybody to be using NSPIRE as of 10/1. The new NSPIRE model for new era is intended to improve the way we do inspection for real estate property. It is a way to streamline and consolidate inspections across the HUD programs. As you saw in the chat, some people use the habitability inspection tool, some people use HQS, the housing authorities, excuse me, the housing, I'm so sorry about that. The housing authorities have been using NSPIRE for a while, but it has not been one form used across all of HUD programs. The final rule was effective July 1st, 2023, and the program impact is going to be impacted by ESG, HOPWA, and COC. The rule will change regulation number 24 CFR 5.703. That's the one that's going to impact our programs, 24 CFR 5.703. No longer will be using the habitability form or the HQS. Everyone will be using NSPIRE. If you receive HUD funding, if you use it on any project, if you're working with property, you'll be required to use the NSPIRE inspection tool. When does NSPIRE apply and what programs? NSPIRE implementation date was supposed to be October 1st, 2023. And HUD waited until the very last minute, September 19th, to change that date. And now they're extending it to October 1st, 2024. But because I already had planned to provide this information, we are still moving forward with that. NSPIRE inspection activities applies and will affect the HOPWA programs, TBRA, permanent project rental assistance, short-term transitional permanent facility-based housing, including master leasing, rehab, construction, acquisition. All those programs will have to follow the new NSPIRE rule. For ESG, rapid rehousing, homeless prevention, and shelter services. Consider this: if you're spending money in operating or providing services in a building, it will be impacted by the NSPIRE rule. NSPIRE different than current habitability and HQS standards. As you know, the standards that we use right now for HUD is pretty rigid. We want to make sure that people are living in appropriate housing. The NSPIRE rule is actually a little more rigid, I should say, or a little more in depth than the other inspection tools that we have out there. NSPIRE 1, is organized by 3 inspection areas, and we'll go through those inspection areas later on through the presentation. Each area includes affirmative requirements. So you have 3 inspection areas, and then you have affirmative requirements, things that are required to be done in certain areas. And then it also has it is objectively different, defines how to identify deficiencies and provide corrective time frame. This is going to be new. This one actually gives you a time frame. So if you're inspecting a property or you're inspecting a shelter, you do have time frames set in place with this inspection tool, depending on what's being identified, that you can actually correct it or make those adjustments. NSPIRE is the most objective type of form you have. and it definitely gives you the opportunity to look at things in more detail. The habitability standards, which is the ones that we usually use for ESG, or sometimes we use the HQS, it provides a general overview, like an overreaching inspection elements versus areas. You have like 2 pages. It goes through general questions to see if it passes or don't pass. It's not separated by zones or specific rooms. It's just general. It's subjective, not as much so as the other ones. It does not include corrective timeframes on the habitability standards. As you know, it's either it pass or it fail. The HQS, and this one's usually used by the COC agencies, and it also can be used in ESG. This form is organized by general requirements. It also looks at electrical and safety requirements. It looks at each room. It do look at exterior and plumbing and other electrical areas. It is more objective than the habitability standards, but it's not as objective as the NSPIRE. So over the years, it got more and more strict in what we're going to require for landlords, property owners, or developers to have in their properties for the health and the safety of applicants receiving HUD funding or HUD resources. What are the NSPIRE inspection areas? As I mentioned in the overview of NSPIRE just now, we're looking at several different components. It's not just an overview anymore. It does take into consideration certain inspection areas. The final rules state that to ensure that all residents live in a safe, habitable dwelling, the items and components located inside the building, outside the building, and within the unit of HUD housing must meet functionality, must function adequately, operate and be free of health and safety hazard. So the 3 inspection areas are inside the building, outside the building, and inside the unit itself. Inside the building is different than inside the unit, and we'll go through how that look. Items and components refer to what will need to be inspected in each of these areas. So when you're looking at inside the building, it actually breaks down specifically what in the building must be inspected. When you're looking at outside the building, it looks at specifications as well and the unit itself. What does inside mean? Inside the building does not mean the bedroom, okay? Inside of HUD housing refers to common areas and building systems that can be generally found within the building interior and not inside a unit. So if you're inspecting a apartment complex and they have a washroom that's used by the compound, inside the area refers to that washroom. Examples inside also includes garages, enclosed carports, restrooms. If you have a restroom inside the unit but not inside the room itself, closets, utility rooms, community rooms, daycare rooms, hallways. This does include the hallways, the stairway, shared kitchen if you're inside a shelter facility and you have a shared kitchen, offices, if that does impact the client, enclosed porch, maybe your facility or the apartment complex have a porch where they can go to take their pets or to go and smoke. That's considered inside the unit. trash collection areas. Examples of building systems, including in this inspection, includes domestic water, such as pipes, electricities, elevators, emergency power, fire protection systems, HVAC, that's included in this, and sanitary services. That's all included inside. And as you can see, this is much more in depth than our previous inspection tools, because I don't remember us ever looking at an HVAC system or a washroom before, laundry room. What's considered outside? Outside of HUD housing refers to the building site, okay? This is the building exterior and any building system located outside the unit. So if you have the HVAC system outside, that's included in that. Example of outside components may include fencing, retaining walls, the grounds, lighting, mailbox, project signs. So you have a sign, if they are a project or a apartment complex or mall. So if you're a shelter, not the DV shelters now, we're talking about general shelters, it's the signage outside. Parking lots, detached garage, carports, driveway play areas. If you have an area for kids to play, is that safe and appropriate? Equipment that might be outside, roads, storm drainage, and I know storm drainage is a big issue in some communities. So if you're inspecting a home, a rental home, and the storm drainage does not work, and there's a bunch of water in the front of or the back of the property collecting, that might be an issue. We're looking at the balconies. Now, when we're looking at things like the fence, this does not include the entire fence for all of the property. We're just looking at things that generally impact the property that you're working with your program. What does unit mean? So when we look at unit, that's when we're looking at in the rental unit that the person will be living in, okay? Unit of HUD housing refers to the interior component of an individual unit. Example of components included for the interior will be if you have an attached balcony to that unit, right? So it's attached to that unit. It's not the general balcony. This is that balcony for that one unit. The bathrooms in that unit. Call for aid if it's something that you need. Carbon monoxide devices. This is something that started off with HOPWA last year. We had HOPWA programs had to make sure that there was a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide device in the units. Now it's also being required for ESG. We're looking at the ceilings. Do you see leaks? Doors, do they lock appropriately? Oven stoves, do they work appropriately? HVAC, if they are located inside the unit. If you have a water heating system inside the unit, not inside, well, the unit itself, we're looking at that as well. Stairs, if that's appropriate. Walls, windows, do they lock appropriately? And do they open appropriately? They are the three main areas of inspection. Now, the NSPIRE tool have not been updated yet for ESG HOPWA programs or COC, but ESG and HOPWA we're talking about today. Do expect that to come out very soon. We anticipated that it would have been 10/1/23, but because of the delay, they have not released it as yet. However, they do have an NSPIRE tool out there that you can start working with. The NSPIRE tool has everything separated into 3 columns. So you're going to have your areas to inspect, and then you have, is it in the unit, inside, outside. And then you have what type of health and safety concerns that you might have. Is it life-threatening? That means it needs to be fixed in 24 hours. For example, does the the smoke detector work, or the carbon monoxide system fail? That needs to be fixed within 24 hours. If it's severe, then it needs your 30 days. If it's moderate, it's 30 days. And if it's low, then it's past, recommended, may not need to be fixed. It all depends on what it is that's being identified. So you will look at specific areas that has detailed questions, and depending on the location, it will determine the severity of what it can be considered as appropriate, life-threatening, or safe to live in. In addition to the NSPIRE checklist, you will have to complete the calculator. So information obtained off the checklist goes into this calculator, and it tells you if it's pass or fail. Once again, the NSPIRE tools that are available right now does not specify ESG and HOPWA. HUD is still working on making those changes. They were not able to do it by the October 1st. However, this information is being provided because the rule was released October 1st, and at this time we can choose to move with it or to delay. What do you need to inspect for? What do you need to inspect for? Just like before, we're looking for safety. In each area, there are affirmative requirements that must be met. Affirmative requirements refer to basic requirements for habitability. For example, the unit must have hot and cold running water in both the bathroom and in kitchen, right? It has to be an adequate source for safe drinking water in the bathroom and in the kitchen. That's going to be an affirmative requirement. It is needed for the health and safety of the individual family occupying the unit. And in each area, there are components and items that must be functionally adequate and operable and free of health and safety hazard. For NSPIRE, the how in determining if a component and an item is functionally adequate and operable and free of hazard is described in the standards. So when you go through the inspection list, as I went through here, depending on how you answer these questions and how you rate, it will determine if it passed. So it's really difficult to manipulate this form to get a pass, because you may say the unit is good on one thing and bad on something you thought was good, and then when you do the calculations, it failed. It has really, they really look into ways to make sure that when the inspection is done, it can be ranked on affirmative requirements and components and items to ensure the safety of those who are going to be staying inside the unit. HUD will be putting out other notices to detail ESG and HOPWA programs and NSPIRE. So the checklist that's available now may change a little bit, but it won't change a lot. Implementation guidance and description in the standards would also come in a later date. You will see changes to the ESG regulations in regards to the inspection requirement to be in line with NSPIRE. So what's next? One, if you haven't signed up for HUD Exchange, sign up for HUD Exchange. I don't want when MAC tell you that you're not in compliance, it'd be the first time that you really consider using NSPIRE. HUD will let us know when ESG and HOPWA is ready to move forward with the NSPIRE program. So stay tuned to what HUD is doing. Sign up for HUD Exchange, get the notification. As I said, on October 1st, they intended to implement the program full in all of HUD programs, but ESG and HOPWA and COC programs did not have the regulations to back that up at this time. So now it's pushed to October 1st, 2024. HUD will be extending the compliance deadline only for the ESG and HOPWA programs, also COC. However, nothing in this extension date is stopping you from using the NSPIRE standards as of now. HUD regulation did go out 10-1. The rule has been changed 10-1. Only thing we're waiting on is for the information regarding ESG. So you can go ahead and slowly start implementing this inspection tool with your programs until you're ready to move forward with using NSPIRE at the full level. Recipients that choose not to adopt the NSPIRE standards on October 1st, 2023, which will be most of us, must continue to use the standards that they are currently using. That's going to be your HQS and the housing habitability standards as required by our regulations. NSPIRE will be required for all new units as of 10/1/2023 audit date that we're tentatively waiting for HUD to release. So once HUD release the requirements for ESG and HOPWA, as of that date, all new units coming into program will be required to be inspected by the NSPIRE inspection tools and meet that requirement. What's next? MHC will update its policy to include NSPIRE inspection requirements. Additional guidance will be in our policies for 2020, the refunding cycle when that's released. So you will see the NSPIRE language there. At that time, it will be a recommendation, not a requirement. We will not require agencies to use NSPIRE until HUD has provided final verifications for ESG and HOPWA programs. But once again, nothing is stopping you from implementing NSPIRE at a small scale so you can feel comfortable with using this tool. For now, look at your capacity for implementing the new requirements. Look at the new NSPIRE tool. I'm going to attach it to this presentation. Also see how the new tool will impact your staff and their duties. The NSPIRE inspection tool, it is much more rigorous than HQS and habitability. You might need to see if those agencies who have a case manager doing the inspections, you might want to see how this will impact their duties. The NSPIRE inspection tool will take much more time than before with the regular inspection tool. So you have to consider that when planning out your staff time, your staff position, the job description, and things like that. And also when it comes to planning your budget for the upcoming year, because there will be much more time done on inspections as we move forward with this tool. When it comes on October 2024, we probably will be in the middle of our 2023 contract year. So that change will be required at that time, and you'll have to be able to make that shift. Here are the tools for NSPIRE. HUD do have NSPIRE training, so you can get trained up on how to do an inspection. This is the link for the inspection training. The inspection training is not updated. It does not have HOPWA and ESG language in there, but it is the NSPIRE tool that will be used, that's identified in the notice from HUD. I also attached HUD NSPIRE form and the scoring calculation tool, so you can start looking through it and seeing how it can be used in your community and also with your programs. All right, as you know, we do 30 minutes within 30 minutes for presentation and 30 minutes for Q&A. That's my time for presenting. Do we have any questions on NSPIRE or any other question related to ESG, ESG CV?
I don't see any questions.
I don't see any questions. Okay.
I don't see any questions.
So for those who never heard of NSPIRE, you are lucky. You don't have to be in compliance as of today. You have one more year, but because we already had this on our schedule to present on, we could decide to continue on. But get familiar with it. It is different than H2S and habitability, so you cannot just start to look at the form the date that HUD sent out the regulations. You need to be trained on it. You need to see how it will impact your staff time. And you need to also, if you have landlords that you work with on a consistent basis, you might want to share this with them so they can start making sure their units meet compliance. Can I drop the link in the chat? What the link for the training? Which link?
He didn't say which link.
Okay, I'm gonna drop the training link in the chat because I'm assuming that's what she is referring to. But we don't have any questions at this time. I'm just gonna drop that link in the chat and then we can call it a session for today. If y'all have any other topics y'all like to hear, please go on our website, provide a topic suggestion. If you have questions that's not related to the topics that we're talking about, we will hear respond to your questions. Our next training next month will be on discharge planning, and then following that will be on case management. I'm trying to find a link. Well, the PowerPoint will be shared and the training link will be on there because I left that page. I'm still trying to pull it up. Find it real quick. Okay, I think I have it here. Hold on. All right, I'm going to send the training link in the chat. You have to sign up for HUD Exchange to access the training link. If you don't have access to HUD Exchange, sign up before trying to complete the training. Just slow, it's coming off. I have a delay on my side. Did it go through? The PowerPoint will be available on our website. If you're having difficulties accessing the PowerPoints from office hours, please let us know and we'll direct you to how to get there. If y'all like, I could definitely show you all real quick how to get to our PowerPoints and our trainings that we've done in the past. If y'all need help with that. But all of our office hours recordings and PowerPoints is available on our website. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much and have a wonderful day.
Hey, Tamara.
Yes.
Can I talk to you guys for just a minute?
Sure can.
Hey, Frederick. Hey, Miss Vicky.
Yeah, Dr. Bates, how are you?
I'm good. Frederick, it's an inside kind of joke with Frederick and I. I told him how I felt after her monitoring. So, Miss Vicky, I don't have those feelings towards you though, so we're good. All right, listen. Okay, I'm gonna wait till a couple more.
All right. Leave. Let me go ahead and stop recording. Give me 1 second. How do I stop it?